All right, so going now into number 5, we're going to expand this and we're going to find the sum. So here, this is one of those things of the calculator. We've talked about it and everything. We've done all the stuff, and we know this one's really easy. So again, looking at number 5, and we're also going to do number 6 and 7. So for number 5, we have our summation going on. And what we said again was we start off with the bottom number and we end at the top number. And the only thing that changes is the variable. So here, we don't touch the 10 at all. So we do 1 plus 10. Oopsie. Then we do 2 plus 10. Then 3 plus 10. And then 4 plus 10. And then 5 plus 10, because that's the last number in the sequence. We start at 1, we go up to 5, and then all we do now is just simplify it down. So if you want to put this in the calculator automatically right now, and then put the summation in and all the good stuff, remember that's math 0, and that gives you the summation symbol. Math 0 gives you the summation symbol. All right, and just adding these up together, you can do that really quickly in your head, hopefully. Like just adding these individual ones up. And now all together, if you add them up, you should get 65. So that's your answer there. That's it. So then go to number 6. This time they want you to go backwards, and now they give you this sequence going on here. Now they want you to tell them what the summation should look like. And I'll give you a hint when it comes to this part here. When it comes to the actual test itself, again, they're all multiple choice. So the answer choices are down there at the bottom. What I would do is go ahead and check out each summation and see if it gives you that sequence right there, or that series right there. If it gives you that series, then you're good. You don't even have to try to make it like work out or try to figure out what it is. Just look at the answer choices and see which one fits with this sequence. The series, sorry, and then you'll be good. But now, because we don't have those multiple choices at the bottom there, let's go ahead and try to figure out what's going on. Alright, so it looks like on every one of these, there's a 2 in it somehow. There's always a 2. So let's try this. Let's try, because it might not be right. But let's just try to say that since there's like a 2 on the bottom of most of these, let's try to put a 2 here and see what happens. And we're like, okay, so there's a 2 here, a 2 here, a 2 here. Try the 2 on the bottom. And on the top, let's say we start off with K. Let's just make that a K. Or you can say X or whatever you want to use. It's okay. It's okay there. All right, so let's just try that and see. Maybe we can get this sequence here, this series going on here. Oops. All right, so let's go with our summation. And we're going to put K on the bottom. And so if we were to do that, if we were to have K over 2, what would K have to start off with in order for this whole thing to equal 1? Now if you say we put 0 there, put 0 over 2, that's 0. If we start off with 1, 1 over 2 would be a half, which is not 1. But if we start with, maybe let's start with 2. If you put 2 divided by 2, what does that equal? Equals 1, right? Yeah. Okay. So let's say we start off with the number 2. And again, this is one of those things that you're going to just have to try things and try to see what happens. And then hopefully it works out. So here we put 2 in there. That gives us 1. If we put 3 up here, that's 3 over 2. And that's that right there, right? So if you put 4 up there, 4 divided by 2 is 2. If you put 5 up there, 5 divided by 2 is 5 over 2. And then so on. This means goes on forever and ever and ever until you get to 19 over 2. So that means if you put 19 on top, 19 divided by 2 is 19 over 2. This means our last number should be 19. Okay, and that's it. That's all you got to do. And again, for the test, there's going to be multiple choice. So that means that you can look at the multiple choice answers that are down there and go ahead and substitute the values in and see which one gives you back this series. All right, so then number 7, we're going to do the same thing. Again, with number 7, you can do the exact same thing of just checking to see what they give you, the actual answer choices, and checking it out and substituting the values in and then try to get the answer that way. Now this one, I actually ended up cheating and actually looked at the actual, looked at the answer for this one, because I was a little confused on exactly what should happen here. Because I was like, okay, it doesn't start off with 7, but we know it's 7, it's plus 3 each time. So I was like, well, maybe we do plus 3. I was like, okay, plus 3, because it's a positive 3 each time. But I'm like, I don't know where else to go. I don't know how to start. So I'm like, okay, well, if we start off with times 1, be like, okay, we're going to multiply this starting with 1. So if we try to 1, that'll be 3 times 1, and that doesn't give us what we need. We need 7 and not 4. So that doesn't work. So, sorry, 3 times 1 is to give us 3, and then if we add, let's say we add 4 to that. That gets us that one. But if we do 3 times 2, and then we add 4 to it, that doesn't give us that answer. It does, doesn't it? Whoa. Interesting. Does it? Does it? That gives us 6, and then 6 times 2, or 6 plus 4 is 10. And then if we do it with 3, that'd be 3 times 3, which is 9. We add 4 to it. That gives us this. Hey. So here, we can say 3 times, let's say k, and then we do 4. That could work. Interesting. So again, if we did 3 times a number, let's say starting off with 1, 3 times 1, would give us 3. If we add 4 to it, that would give us 7. Okay, then we do 3 times 2, that gives us 6. Add 4 to that gets us 10. Cool, so this should be able to work out. So let's try one more time. 3, so 3 times 3 is 9, plus 4 is 13. If we do 3 times 4, that gives us 12. 12 plus 4 is 16. That will work. Woo! So here, let's say k started off with 1. And then what would be the last number though? If we did that there. So if we did, let's just throw a number out there. Let's say 10. 3 times 10 would be 30 plus 4, which would be 34. So we need to go backwards. So let's try 9. So 3 times 9 is 27 plus 4. Hey, that's 31 right there. So let's do 9. Now, another way that you could have done this that actually was when I looked at the answer choice that they gave, or the answer they gave us, they actually said this. Now, either one will work because they'll give you the same answer either way. But again, when it comes to the test on when you take this test for sequence and series, they have answer choices down there. You just have to choose which one will work. So you can choose whichever one is there and substitute the values in for k or the x or whatever variable it is, and see if it gives you that sequence. If it does, then that's the one you circle, and you'll be good. But make sure you check all the way up to the top number, because if it doesn't work for this top number up here, it doesn't work for that number there, then that means this series doesn't work, so therefore you can't use that one. So make sure you start at 2 and you go all the way up to 10 to make sure all these numbers are represented. All right, and that's it. It's all the way to 7.